going to learn about data handling. What is a data? Data is a collection of facts and figures. As you can see, once the data is arranged in a proper manner, then it is going to make sense. So to make sense of a data, we must arrange in some order. Like an example is shown in which a survey was done on the number of students who play video games, and in this, with the help of this chart, we are able to easily understand how many students like which game. Now the data can be arranged in the form of different graphs or charts. Like pictograph. Pictograph is a chart in which pictures show numbers like this. In this, a survey was done in the number of the students who like different fruits. And in this, each fruit represents 2 students. So if we want to understand how many students like mangoes, so the answer is 6 because there are 3 mangoes over here and each mango represents 2 students. Likewise, if we can calculate the total number of the students who like apples, there are total 10 apples and each apple represents 2 students. So 10 multiplied by 2 is equivalent to 20. So 20 students like apples. So pictograph is a chart in which pictures show numbers, as you can see in this example. Next is bar graph. Bar graph is a chart in which horizontal or vertical bars show numbers. As you can see in your first picture, these are the vertical bars and on your right it's horizontal bars. So these are the 2 different bar graphs. So a chart in which horizontal or vertical bars show numbers are called bar graphs. With the help of this bar graph, we can totally understand that the total number of students who like grapes is equivalent to 80. So both of these are bar graphs and 2 different ways in which a bar graph can be represented. Next is pie charts. Pie charts are circular charts. They are useful when you want to show fractions of a collection. So if a survey is done on suppose 100 students, so with the help of pie charts, we can easily understand that 25% of the students in that their favorite fruit is apple and 30% student favorite fruit is banana and likewise. So let's start with the exercise. Our first question is the heights of students in Shrikant's class are given in the yellow box. Now we have to arrange these data accordingly. What is asked in the first column, its height like below 110 centimeter, below 110 and 120 centimeter, above 120 centimeter. And in the second column we have to mark this and we know how to mark these lines. After 4 we have to cross it for 5, right? And in this, the third column, we have to write the number. Our first number is 109 centimeter / below 110 centimeter. Then is 115, then 112, 115, 108, 109, 119, 112. Now we will be crossing it because 4 forward slashes are already there, so we'll mark it like this as 5. And likewise we are going to do that. Okay, 120, 114, 115, 108, 112, 122, 119, 109, 113, 121, 123, 108, 114, 124, 117, 107, 124 and 121. So total number of students who are below 110 is 5 plus 2 7 and below 110 centimeter and 120 centimeter is 5 5 10 plus 3 13 students and above 120 centimeter is 5 plus 1 6. Now the same thing we have to arrange in the form of bar graph by coloring squares and each square here represents 2 students. So how we are going to write is, we'll write 0 over here and we know that each square represents 2 students. So we'll write it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 likewise. And we have to make a bar graph of what we have already done. So below 110 centimeters, we know that total number of students was 7. So we will make a bar like this. Next is between 110 to 120 centimeter. We know that total number of students were 13. So we'll make it like this. And above 120 centimeter, there were 6. So this is a bar graph. Now, first question is the greatest number of students are, we know, as you can see in the bar graphs, it's between 110 and 120 centimeter. Second is the least of number of students are above 120 centimeters. The fraction of total number whose heights are between 110 and 120 centimeter. We know that it's 13 and total students are 7 plus 13 plus 6, which is equivalent to 26. So 13 by 26, which is equivalent to 1 by 2. The fraction number is 1 by 2. Next question is the number of students above 120 centimeter is, we can easily find out from the bar graph, that is 6. Next is the pictograph shows how much a family spends on different things every month. And here each circle represents rupees 2000. So different sections are there on rent, food, education, transport and others the family is spending. So from that pictograph, we have to find what does the family spend the most. As we can see, the food section is coming the most the family is spending on. So answer is food. Next is how much does it spend on transport. We know that each circle represents 2000, right? And in this, a fractional part is missing, which is equivalent to 500 over here if you find out. So 2000 plus 1500 is equivalent to rupees 3500. Now we have to find out how much does it spend in total. How are we going to find the total? It's rent plus food plus education plus transport plus others. And after that we are going to mention their number. So on rent the family is spending 6000. On food, family is spending 7,000. On education, it's 2,000. Transport is 3,500. And others, it is spending 4,500. So total comes to 23,000. Next is, if the family earns 25,000 every month, how much does it save? How are we going to find out the savings? Save is equal to earn minus spend. We know that the family is earning 25,000 minus we have calculated the spend amount of 23,000 in the previous question. So the total equivalent is equal to 2,000 the family is saving. In this we have to fill this pictograph to show how many children took part in different events in sports day. You have to use this symbol to show 15 students. So total number of students under each category it is given. Races 75 students are there, jump 65, swimming 55 and karate is 50. So and this symbol represents 15 children. So how we are going to represent races 75 children is how many times? 15 ones are 15, 15 twos are 30, 15 threes are 45, 15 fours are 60. So 15 fives are 75. So total number of times make it as 5. Then is jumps. Now 15 ones are 15, 15 twos are 30, 15 threes are 45, 15 fours are 60. 5 children are left and how are we going to make it? We will make it like this. This represents 5. Next is swimming. Swimming is 55. 15 ones are 15, 15 twos are 30, 15 threes are 45. Now we have to just draw the picture representing 10 children and this is like that. Next is karate. 15 ones are 15, 15 twos are 30, 15 threes are 45. And we know that how to represent 5 children. It is like this. Next is this pictograph shows the sale of 2 fruit sellers on a certain day. Each fruit stands for 5 kg. The first question is who sold more apples by weight and how much more? So in this each fruit is equivalent to 5 kg and there are 2 fruit sellers Suniti and Nakul. So our first question is we have to find who sold more apples by weight and by how much. So Suniti, if we can calculate the total number of apples which are sold by Suniti are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and total number of apples sold by Nakul is 5. So as we can see that Suniti is selling 1 apple more than Nakul, and each fruit represents 5 kg. So what we will write is Suniti sold 5 kg more apples by weight, right? 5 because each fruit stands for 5 kg. Next is who sold more fruit and how much. If we calculate the total number of fruits which are sold by Suniti, it comes to 12, and by Nakul it's 13. And we know that each fruit represents 5 kg. So in this case, Nakul sold 5 kg more fruit than Suniti, right? Next is if each sells the same amount of fruit for 2 more days, what will be the difference between the amounts they sell at the end of the third day? So on the first day, we see that 5 kg more fruit is sold by Nakul than Suniti. So if this pattern is continuing for next 2 days, so total 3 days, if Nakul is selling 5 kg more than Suniti, so total fruit which he will sell is 15 kg more than Suniti, right? So they will sell 15 kg more at the end of the third day. Next is Arif's class form 5 groups. Each group asks 20 families how they make sure that their drinking water is safe. Then the 5 groups put together the data and made this pie chart, right? So we have the different categories, the people who use water filters, who boil water, and who boil and use filter both. So first question is how many families did Arif class question? So in this we will write first of all total number of groups is equivalent to 5 and each group asks 20 families. So if we have to find the total families Arif's class question, which will come to 5 multiplied by 20, which is equivalent to 100 families. Next is how many families only boil water? As we can see in the picture that we know that the total number of families represent, this pie charts represent 100 families. So out of this 50% use water filter. That means 50 families use water filter and 50% of these means 25 boil water and 25 boil and use water filter. So total number of families that boil water, that comes to 25. And how many use filters? Answer is 50 families. How many boil water and use filter? It's again 25 families. Now swimming club has 240 members. 60 of them like to swim on Saturday evening, 120 on Sunday morning and 60 on Sunday evening. Make a pie chart. We know that pie chart is a circular chart. So this circle represents 240 members in total. So if we draw one line, that means on each side there will be 120 members. And 120, we know that 120 are going on Sunday morning, right? And out of this 60, what is the half of 120 members? If we divide this 120 into half, that will come to 60 members each, right? And this is our question only. 120 on Sunday morning. So we will write down as 120 swim on Sunday morning. 60 of them like to swim on Saturday evening. So we will write swim on Saturday evening over here. And the rest 60, they go on Sunday evening. So this was all about data handling.